back to the show. This is The Law Show on CL 650.
And welcome back to The Law Show on CL 650. I'm Zach Spencer, and today we're talking about personal injury, and we have Kevin Hyde and Nate Hartney here from McQuarrieHunterLLP in the personal injury division there, talking about what they do, basically. And I touched on this before the break. Often the person that has been injured, especially if it's a brain injury, they don't realize how much they've changed. So how far do you go with that investigation? You can talk to the wife or the husband or the kids or whatever, but you go to their place of work, and is it impacting other parts of their life? Well, what kind of investigation do you do into that?
Well, we do. There's two parts of that. We do, of course, all the medical investigation with neurologists and neuropsychs and so on. Get all the expert reports lined up, the testing done for them. But as you mentioned, we also will interview those around them, their family members, their friends, people at their place of work, and how they've changed from before the accident to after the accident. Of course, those will be key witnesses along with the medical experts and reports that we have at the trial, if it goes that far.
And as you mentioned before the break, often the person that's been injured doesn't realize how much they've changed.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
A lot of people who, if they have a brain injury or a mild traumatic brain injury, aren't fully aware of what exactly is going on with them and how they've changed. And the best way to tell their story is often through the people around them that know them best. Is
it sometimes the spouse that gets them to your office if they don't really believe they've been injured that much, or does it work that way?
Yeah, of course. Those that care about the person often say, yeah, you should go see a lawyer. Something's going on with you. You're complaining about these injuries, or you're sleep deprived, frustrated, you have driving anxiety. And those are compensable injuries, and you should talk to a lawyer about them. And we can also help you make sure that you get proper treatment, and that covered by ICBC. And get to the bottom of what exactly injuries that you have and how they're going to affect you moving forward.
Now, we talked about it a little bit before. Now, Nate, maybe you can touch on this. Someone's injured, you are representing them. You're going up against ICBC to eventually get a settlement with them. But there's a pool of money through your policy that helps you to get to that point. Someone's injured. So I think a lot of people aren't aware of this, and why it's important to call somebody when an accident happens, for example, McQuarrieHunterLLP, to get things moving along. What can you tap into that's part of your policy?
So when we talk about you've got a claim against ICBC, what we're really talking about is you have a claim against the person that injured you who's being represented by ICBC.
Sure. Yeah, we kind of forget that it's...
Yeah.
Because ICBC represents everybody.
They're, omnipotent, I guess.
Sure.
But that claim is separate from the benefits that you have with your own personal policy with ICBC. So you have rehabilitation.
Let me just back up for a second. So when you have a suit, you're going after their pool of insurance.
That's right. That's right.
And this stuff we're talking about is in your pool of insurance that you pay for with your policy.
That's right. It's totally separate. So
okay.
That's your first party policy as opposed to the third party policy. So when a claim is started against the person who injured you, that's ongoing and it's not going to be heard for a long time. But in the meantime, you can access what we call the no-fault benefits from ICBC. And it's not uncommon for us to assist clients with that, for example, getting immediate wage loss benefits, which you're entitled to a maximum of $300 a week under the legislation, as well as rehabilitation benefits like massage therapy, physiotherapy.
I just want to stop you there. I'm guessing that was written a long time ago, $300 a week. They haven't lived in Vancouver in a while.
Yeah, they haven't taken inflation into consideration for some time because it's been at that $300.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day at work, and somebody said that number of $300 a week hasn't changed for like 30 years. And I'm not sure if that's correct, but it might be.
And there's another one here. If you're a homemaker, I guess the old term would be housewife, but if you're a homekeeper and you're not going to a regular job, you're looking after kids and what have you, it's even less?
Yeah, I think it's $145 a week maximum for a homemaker. So you only get the $300 a week maximum if you were working at the time of the accident. But it's still,
but at least there's something there.
Exactly, and we can get that for you immediately to basically ease the financial pressure on people. while the other claim is ongoing.
So then you mentioned the other things like physio and massage and chiropractors and those sorts of things. You have a pool of money you can get there too?
Exactly. You can get this treatment covered whether you're at fault for the accident or not. Some people come to us at the point where the ICBC adjuster has told them that they're not covering any more treatment. Well, the reality is it's not the ICBC adjuster's decision. You already have a policy with them, and that treatment should be covered as long as whoever's treating you, usually your doctor or GP, is recommending that you get that treatment. So it should be covered other than the user fee. And if the user fee is too difficult for you to cover, it's usually around $30 to $40. Often we can assist you and send you to a physio that does a direction to pay, so they're paid at the end, because we want to ensure that you are doing everything you can to get better and getting the proper treatment that you need to recover from these motor vehicle accident-related injuries.
So I'm guessing the adjuster is kind of out of line if the pool of money is up to $150,000. That's a lot of visits to the massage therapist, $150,000.
Those are only, the 150 cap is usually only reached in these very serious cases.
Yeah,
Let's
be clear. That's not what they're obligated to fund. That's just the maximum. So oftentimes they'll
But what I'm getting at is when the adjuster says to you, "Yeah, we're done. We've reached the cap." That's a big cap, $150,000.
Haven't seen that yet for $150,000 in massage treatments.
Yeah, and then the other pools of money you have. For hit and run. We touched on that in the last show. So you're involved in the hit and run. Somebody hits you in the car, you've been injured, and you can't find who hit you. You still have a pool of money there to access.
Yeah, ICBC will step in and you're covered up to $200,000. When there is these claims where it's an underinsured or unidentified motorist, or perhaps just basic insurance of $200,000, and you're say you're in if you're down in Washington State, for example, a lot of them don't have the insurance coverage that we do up here, where most people are $1 million or more. There's something called underinsured motor vehicle, UMP is what it's called. It's underinsured motorist protection. And everyone here, as long as you have a BC driver's license, has $1 million basic UMP coverage. And that not only protects you in the case of that situation where you're in an accident with an underinsured or an unidentified motorist, it also protects you, other members of your family that live in the same household.
Now, I know this, and I know it's a small fee. I think it's around $30 or $35 to up the UMP. It's from $1 million to $2 million. And I did this recently because I knew we were going to be going away for spring break, and I knew that we were going to be using Uber because I didn't want to drive everywhere. I didn't want to rent a car and pay for parking and everything. It was just cheaper actually to use Uber. But I asked the Uber driver, I said, "What kind of insurance do you guys have here?" And he said, "Well, whatever you need in the state of California." And I'm thinking, well, that's probably pretty low. It's probably a couple $100,000, maybe $250,000. I'm not sure what the number is, but it's not $2 million. And that covers me and everybody in the car, my family, I should say, that I'm traveling with, right?
Yeah, and the UMP would be split amongst all those in the vehicle. So if you're with your family in the vehicle, that coverage would be split amongst you, unless you each individually got one. That's you're a smart man to get that extra $1 million. I definitely recommend that everyone pay that extra $30, just in case of the worst case scenario. I do have I've had a claim in the past where a young person was involved in a motor vehicle accident, hit by someone in an uninsured vehicle, and the $200,000 wasn't going to be enough, and she was actually put into a coma and has life-altering injuries and is never going to be the same as she was pre-accident. And thank goodness the father purchased the UMP coverage. She didn't have it, but the father did, so that she would have access to that excess UMP coverage of $2 million, and in her case, it was right up to the policy limit of the $2 million. If he hadn't got that, she would have been capped at $1 million.
So that's
the basic UMP.
I looked at it, like $30 is, it's, it was spread over 12 months. It's really not that much. And it's just that extra layer of insurance. I think there's kind of people who are insurance people and people who aren't. Like I have insurance for all kinds of different things. And then there's people I know who have no insurance for anything. And, it's just, I guess, how they're wired, right?
Exactly. Some brokers do a good job of explaining this to you. Others don't even mention it. Say, oh, you just want the basic coverage. It's an extra $30 for an extra $1 million. You probably don't need that. I totally disagree with that. I think everyone should get it because I see these people who are involved in these accidents, such as the case I just spoke about, who, you know, it would have been just devastating if she didn't have access to that extra excess ump coverage.
Now, when people come in to see you at Macquarie LLP, and you point this out, they're not aware of that, and that's one of the reasons why you should call a lawyer, because there are the benefits you've already paid for in your own policy. As Nate pointed out, this is your insurance policy that they're not aware of. And is that a light bulb moment for many people?
Yes, we're here to hold your hands through the whole process, and whether, as Nate was saying before, it's the tort aspect of the claim or ensuring that you get everything and all the treatment options and the coverage under your insurance policy, the no-fault benefits or Part 7 benefits. Our team is here to help you through that entire process. And also, one thing a lot of people don't realize is once you hire a lawyer, those ICBC adjusters can't call you anymore. Everything goes through your lawyer now. So that takes the stress off of you and ensures that you can just focus on your treatment and getting better.
I bet you that's a big relief.
And the other stress on people is when ICBC is making those offers to them, they have no idea whether that's a fair compensation or not. And usually when a lawyer is not involved, I can say the vast majority of times, if not all the times, that's usually not their best dollar at all. And they're just trying to get you to sign that release before you come and see someone like Nate or myself.
All right. When we come back, I want to get into pre-existing medical conditions and why people try to cover that up or keep it secret because they think it's going to affect the amount they might be able to get. When we come back, we're talking about personal injury. And from Macquarie LLP, we have Kevin Hyde and Nate Hartney in studio. We'll pick up the conversation next on CL 650.
There's more of the show still ahead. This is The Law Show on CL 650.